This is the Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson. It seems that the Russian government has decided to play long-term with North Korea. Obviously, the United States doesn't do business with North Korea. You can't invest there, and it's not something that you would be discussing in the context of a political risk. Unless you look at the moves by Russia with the backdrop of China's move in Africa. Russia has written off 90% of North Korea's debt. And we're talking about $11 billion that was owed to Moscow since the Soviet Union was in existence. So the Russians have just said, well, the $11 billion, don't worry about it. Now, why would they do this? The reason is very simple. They look at North Korea as a long-term investment vehicle. They look at it as a long-term political vehicle, a way to counteract American influence in Asia. As we all know, our own government has decided to shift some of its focus to Asia in the past year and a half, and I believe that this is a good thing. Of course, this makes China and Russia both very nervous, and the only way to counteract this shift in diplomacy and policy by the United States is to work with friendly governments in the region. Friendly meaning they are friendly to Russia and China and not so much to the United States. Overall, the offset of this relationship is not going to be anything that's going to make any Russian very rich very soon. But the long-term implications that there is a strong alliance between North Korea, which I believe that this deal has created, a very strong alliance between North Korea and Russia, means that they have created another satellite in a different area of the world. At one point, when the Soviet Union existed, a good part of Eastern Europe, if not all of Eastern Europe, was under Soviet dominance. They had influence in other countries as well, in other continents. But the long term did not prove that these alliances were anything that was going to sustain Russia economically, or shall I say the Soviet Union economically. This is a bit different. Asia is a major economic power as a region. It will continue to be so. It is not going to stop being a major economic power. At some point, North Korea will enter this economic fray. At some point, you're not going to have North Korea as a dictator-driven economic failure. I believe at some point it's going to emerge from this. The Russians have played long-term. They've now got themselves in a very strong position to dominate North Korea economically and to benefit short-term from the relationship by writing off this debt. And benefit, I mean politically. This was a very, very astute move by the Russian government. Possibly not the best one you could say any nation ever made when it comes to economics. But long term, the economic and political implications are good for Russia, good for North Korea, not good for Western nations such as the United States. But this is something that we all should have seen coming. With China investing heavily in African countries, spreading its influence around the globe, this is just another step by another government that is completely different and has different interests in the United States to create its influence in areas where it either never had influence or had limited influence in the past. This has been the Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson.